Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. So, today we'll start with chapter 3 of Civics, the Judiciary. So, let's start. In the previous chapter, we have studied the legislative and executive organs of the government. Now, in this chapter, we shall learn about the third organ of the government, that is the judiciary. The judiciary plays a crucial role in the functioning of the India's democracy. In our country, judiciary is independent. But why is it so important? It helps to settle disputes whenever there are conflicts between people, government, etc., and tries to resolve them. It upholds and enforces the fundamental rights of the citizens of India. Supreme Court is the final interpreter of our constitution. It also gives punishments when there are violation of laws. It is independent, but why is it necessary for judiciary to be an independent institution? The framers of our constitution have kept the judiciary independent of the legislature and executive so that it can check the misuse of powers by the other two organs of the government and for impartial justice so that it is fair and true. This means that it is free from the control of other organs of the government. We know that in India we have the rule of law, that is, the laws apply equally to all persons, and a certain set of fixed procedures are followed if a law is violated. An impartial, independent, and unbiased judiciary is the pivot of a democracy. The executive and legislature cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. It is necessary to have an independent judiciary so that the judges can discharge their duties without fear or favor and without the interference of the executive and the legislature. But it does not mean that the judiciary can act in an arbitrary manner. It has to follow the constitution in letter and spirit. The Constitution of India provides for a single integrated judicial system. This means that, unlike some other federal countries of the world, India does not have separate state courts. The structure of judiciary in India is pyramidal with the Supreme Court at the top, High Court below them, and District and Subordinate Court at the lowest level. The lower court functions under the direct superintendence of the higher courts. The Indian judiciary has a pyramidal structure. The judiciary consists of a network of judicial bodies or law courts. The Supreme Court is the apex of the pyramid, with the High Court below it. The High Court, in turn, have subordinate district courts below them. Cases introduced in the judicial system follow a predestined course in the sense that all cases from the lower court can be taken in appeal to the High Court and ultimately to the Supreme Court if accepted by it for adjudication. It means that he can move up the ladder, that is, from the lower court to the Supreme Court and appeal to the highest court. There are subordinate or district courts at the lowest level. These are usually at the district or tehsil level and they hear many kinds of cases. Most of us interact with these courts. Each state is divided into several districts and each district is presided over by a district judge. Each state has a high court, which is the highest court of the state, or a group of smaller states have one high court in common. It is presided over by the Chief Justice of the High Court. We will learn about the courts in detail in the upcoming video. The court deals with two types of cases, that is, civil cases and criminal cases. Civil cases involve conflicts related to money, property, and social practices like inheritance, divorce, etc., between two people or agencies or institutions. A civil case deals with rights and duties between individuals. In a civil case, the claimant brings the claim against a defendant. In such cases, the court determines whether one party has caused harm to another party. If this is proved, the court then orders the party to compensate the plaintiff for the loss sustained. The loser in a civil case cannot be imprisoned even if he or she cannot pay the damages. Either party may appeal in a civil case. Now, the criminal case involves offense which disrupt peace and cause harm to other members of society. In a criminal case, the government brings charges against the person alleged to have committed the crime. These cases involve enforcing public code of behavior as embodied in the laws. The law is concerned with establishing and maintaining social order and protecting the community as a whole. It lays down a set of rules for peaceful, safe, and orderly living. No person can be arrested without warrant except in case of emergency. Now, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is at the apex of the judicial hierarchy. Delhi, the national capital, is the seat of Supreme Court. It makes the final decision which are then abided by all the courts of our country. The Chief Justice heads the Supreme Court. A maximum of 25 judges assist him. The present sanctioned strength of the Supreme Court of India includes Chief Justice and not more than 25 other judges, all appointed by the President of India. The tenure of the Supreme Court judge lasts till he attains 65 years of age. Then the removal of judge. A Supreme Court judge can be removed from office only by an order of the President if he is found guilty of misuse of authority or proven misbehavior. The procedure of impeachment of a judge is the same as that of President that you have read in the last chapter. To remove a judge from his office, a motion containing the charges against the judge has to be passed separately by both houses of the parliament by a two-third majority of the members present and voting, which should not be less than a majority of the total membership of the House. Now, the qualifications. First, he must be a citizen of India, he must have served in the High Court for at least 10 years, or be a judge of High Court for at least 5 years. Then, he must be distinguished jurist. It means he must be an expert of law. The functions and responsibilities of the Supreme Court are defined by the Constitution. Jurisdiction refers to the scope of authority of the Supreme Court to carry out judgments and enforce laws. The Supreme Court enjoys the following jurisdiction. First, original jurisdiction. The original jurisdiction empowers the Supreme Court to hear and decide certain cases in the first instance. That is, these cases cannot be heard in any other court. Some of these cases are disputes between two states, between two government, cases which concern the violation of constitution, issues of writs for the enforcement of fundamental rights. Then, appellate jurisdiction. The appellate jurisdiction includes appeals against the judgments of the high courts. The Supreme Court, being the highest judicial authority, has the power to review the decisions of the High Court and give its own judgment in matters of civil and criminal cases. Then, advisory functions. The advisory jurisdiction empowers the Supreme Court to advise the President on constitutional issues when asked for. However, the President is not bound to follow its advice. The Supreme Court records and prints all its proceedings and judgments. Thus, it also functions as the court of record. These judgments serve as laws and can be cited by the subordinate courts throughout the country. The fourth one and the last one is judicial review. It is the power of the Supreme Court to examine the validity of the laws passed by the Union and the states. A law can also be annulled if found incompatible with the Constitution.